Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Monday Night Faith Walk. Tonight on the show, I have a very special guest with me, a very good friend of mine. Y'all give a round of applause for Stefan Teller. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Just off a busy day of work.
Yeah,
Trying to make it here,
I know that's right. I appreciate you stopping by and taking the time to come in and do this, y'all.
man.
So, what's been going on with you though?
A whole lot. Living the life.
Yeah.
And God chooses me to go, that's where I go at. I'm in the movies. I'm just filming a movie.
Yeah.
Featuring Dan on the Fight for a Beautiful Film. We just started Sunday filming for another
What's the name of this one?
one. We call Taking Not Giving. It's like an 80s in the 80s.
Okay, so you still sticking with the.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like this. And now, you got director. Under your belt. You're a man of many hats. You know.
I learned a lot from you.
No. That's what I would say about you. I learned a lot from you. But so how's the music thing going? Being that you're focusing on the movies.
It's still going. Like we did a soundtrack for the movie, and man, when I was younger and looking at movies, I always wanted to do a movie and do the soundtrack. You know, and we, God bless me with the talent to do that. So we did a movie, we did the soundtrack. So I got my feet wet in that, and this time around, man, we get to do it all over again.
Right.
No better this time.
And y'all shot all of this locally in the city.
From Salisbury down to Virginia, Pocono, Snow Hill, all kinds of places.
Yeah. I've seen you doing big things. I seen when you put the movie out here in Pocono, and then I looked again. You had it down in Virginia at the
Yeah.
That's big, man, for a local.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
We sold out. We was 20 seats from 400 in Pocono.
That's good, man.
So
that's good.
that's history. That's black history.
Yes, sir.
It's never been done before.
Because you as I can remember, you always had a vision just to do more.
Yeah.
Just to do more, and you was always big on speaking up about the community and
that's right.
and trying to talk to the young folks about the history
That's
of
right.
where they come from, because there's a lack thereof,
Yeah.
and they don't know.
Yeah, it's the worth. It's here on the shore. Our worth is very small in the eyes, even in black folks' eyes.
Mhm.
Our worth has never been that big here on the shore.
Right.
That's why when people do things, they tend to go a certain distance, and they worry about what's gonna go on after.
Right.
But we've got a lot of things to be pleased, and I'm here on the shore alone. I know a lot of people. Like I listen to stories of the older baseball players and basketball players, some of the greats. You know what I mean? No different than the Ruckers.
Yeah, right.
New York, you know what I'm saying? No different than the Ruckers. So I always took a lot of pride in where I came from, man. You know.
Right. And where is that? Where are you from?
Hometown, Virginia.
Yeah.
Hometown,
Okay.
Virginia, not too far.
Yeah.
It's
Back
like
there
in a
in the
little
woods.
small town in the VA. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes, sir. So I think I read what is the Slick with the what's the name of the new album?
oh no, I'm working on a new album. It's like a friend of mine, Doc Beckett's out of
Snow Hill.
So he did all the music, and I always like have themes in my when I do something. Like this time around, I'm a superhero. I'm like Frankenstein. My name is Super Drip on this called The Legend of Super Drip. You know, Doc's Monster. So
Okay.
so I'm getting into that.
You shoot that locally too?
Nah, that's just music.
Oh, it's just the music.
Yeah. My boy's trying to get me to do some skits, some funny stuff. So.
But that's what's going too,
Mhm.
People attention span in that
Yeah.
old these days.
So soon as the camera look around when we shoot the movie, soon as the camera get on me, I fall out and start laughing. Before I can get serious, I gotta laugh. And people be laughing like, why do you laugh every time they say 503? I said I'm just trying to get it out before I get serious. Then I'm calm.
Right.
I'm not an actor.
Right. You're an artist though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
that's all under one hat to me. 'Cause
Yeah.
the actor is the artist to me. That's
Yeah.
an art form
Exactly.
right
Yeah.
there. So what do you feel? How do you feel about what's going on right now with the president and the war?
Oh man, I don't know. I got mixed feelings about both, all of it. Some things I'll say this about any president. Some things the president do, we may not agree with it, but it's better for the country. And some things he do is not.
Right.
So I can't say he's all wrong about some of the things, but I can't say he's all right either.
Right.
You know what I mean? I did a lot. Most of the time before I speak, I like to do a lot of research. So when Obama was in office, I seen some things in his run that wasn't as good for us either.
Right.
But
right.
I'm looking at the people though, and I'm talking about black people in general. And I mean I can say the whole country, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about in our neck of the woods. You know what's good for us whenever whoever is running, like what's good for us. Just because it's Democrat and Republican that doesn't mean a lot. You know, you gotta know what's in it for us. When anybody's in office, even our local officers.
I feel that's the most important.
Yeah.
That people don't even vote for. They just think about the presidency, but
Right.
but it starts here in your own
That's right.
county
That's right.
first.
You gotta have good local people in office.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, as many local people we got doing good, that goes up the ladder. The ladder don't come down. It starts up from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? Even like when we look at civil rights, didn't nothing start from up top. Everything started from on the ground. You know what I mean? A leader don't start up top. A leader starts from the bottom. You know what I mean? Because that's where we get our information from. You know?
Yeah.
But far as, you know what I mean, I'm never an advocate for war. None of that. You know what I'm saying?
So, that being said, I take you never been to the army or nothing.
No. I did enough of it in the street to know what's right or wrong. You know what I mean? But no, I never been about war. I always think if we talk things out, I always say there's a silver lining to everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's an answer to everything. But people in this day and time, we don't talk enough. You know?
Yeah, communication.
Yeah, we don't share enough. You know, to know, you know, what's right or wrong, or who. Like, if you feel a different way than I feel, then we don't like one another, and it's not the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
No, we learn from each other. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
All the time. Iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Used to be a big boy back in the day,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Pop lock.
Hey, listen. Number one break dancer from bridge to bridge.
Huh?
And I traveled to New York, Philly, Jersey, and all of that back in my day.
Okay.
Sermon.
Huh?
You know what I mean?
Chris Brown.
No, they would say this: if God came down right there and asked each one of us, if I could take you back to any era of your life, where would you want to go at? Trust me. Take me back to breakdancing and I'll serve them all over again just for one more night.
One more for the God.
Yeah, that was a good time of life because, you know what I mean, my mom and dad was doing a lot of arguing back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of things was going on in my household. It wasn't anything different than any other household, but you know, when I was a teenager coming up, it was, you know, some things were going on.
Yeah.
My dad, you know, he was doing some running out, you know, so that was causing conflict in the house. So when I got about, my mom, I tell you when it started, my mom brought me the Off the Wall album. I might have been like 10, something like that. I played that album for 3 years. Every time I seen Michael Jackson on TV, I remembered him. You know, I would take my shoes off, going down them hardwood floors and slide, you know. But when I got older, we went to Wilmington one time, and I seen these guys popping, you know, and I was like, wow. But that woke me up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Woke me up because I wasn't a ball player. I didn't worry about playing ball
Right.
with a lot of guys. but that woke me up, you know. That's when I realized I want to be an entertainer. That's what I want. That's what's always been a dream, to be an entertainer. That was me.
Right.
And that started it all, man. You know, and from that time, it helped me escape a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like a lot of guys my age then, you know, they were doing things that I wasn't doing. You know, I didn't
Right.
get into drinking and all of that until I got a little older.
Right.
You
Same
know what
here.
I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I was too busy trying to get in the circle,
Right.
or trying to DJ and stuff like that.
Right,
you know?
right. Man, you still be a Pokemon, right?
Nah,
do you,
nah. I used to stay swimming here. I'm back there in Virginia now.
Okay. Do you know about the night at the parks out here?
I used to come, but now my job, when I get off, it's a little later.
Oh, okay,
All the
okay.
time, man. I'm getting older now. I'm 56. When I get off, I want to just get my shoes off, you know?
56.
Yeah, I just want to get my shoes off when I get out of work sometimes. Sometimes I got that
I ain't
the
think
energy.
I ain't think that you was that old, we step.
Oh yeah, 56. I'll be 57 this year, man.
All right. Yeah. So, what's church like for you right now? Cause I remember.
I don't have a church family right now.
Okay.
COVID. It was something. I don't know something about COVID. It was like when we started going back to COVID. After COVID, it was just different. You know what I mean? People were scared. You know, people didn't want to be beside one another.
Right.
I felt like, man, you know, look, we're not supposed to be like this, you
Right.
know, in church.
Right.
So
Well, if you don't have a church home, Temple of God, our doors is always open.
Uh-huh.
House of
We'll have
Deliverance.
to-
You know where it's at now, so
take Mike to visit.
yeah. Make sure you pull up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a little break, man, and we're sponsored by Morgan's Lemonade. You can get in touch with us on our Facebook page for Morgan's Lemonade, or just inbox somebody on this comment on this live, and we'll get back to you. And right now, me and you, we're about to try. This is a new one that they have. This is green apple
All right.
lemonade.
So they made this from scratch?
Yeah, man. They do it themselves, man.
That's all right.
Yeah, so we about to try this out. See what they got going on here.
All right. I was looking at it, you know, a while ago. I was like, are we gonna drink this?
Yeah,
It look refreshing. I was like, are we gonna try this out?
yeah. They also have this stuff for sale. They come, I think, like 5 flavors now.
Oh, yeah.
They got like 5 flavors going on.
That's all right. How old are y'all?
And she's 11.
That's all right. Young entrepreneur.
Yeah. So we're gonna do here and have you sip and.
That's good.
Yeah.
Just the right sweetness too.
Yeah. I think they have like a strawberry paradise. They have watermelon splash, I think.
Well,
Blueberry gumdrop,
Blueberry gumdrop
jawbreaker.
and a jawbreaker.
yeah. What made y'all want to get into it?
She wanted to do it since she was 3.
So she must have made a lot of juice at home back in her time. Kool-Aid packs must have laying around for her to try.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
She
like
must
that.
have.
That's
Yeah,
good.
This is alright. This is like my first time trying.
I dig that. Why not?
So, with the new album, are you got features on there, or
Yeah, I got my nephew, my man Slick. He's on there. My boy Cool Tay, which is my partner in doing the movies. He's behind the other cameras.
Okay.
And my son, he go by Rod Dog. My son.
Yeah,
I got some coaches foreshore basketball.
Oh,
coaches
that's
in
dope.
there too.
That's dope.
Yeah.
You got a lot of things going on, man.
Trying to, man.
I'm
Trying
see
to
you
stay
on that
busy.
red carpet soon or
Yeah,
later.
hopefully. I'm trying to stay busy. Keeps in mind, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gonna idle mind the devil's playground.
Man, yeah. no doubt. It was a quote I would say about 5 or 6 years ago. Muhammad Ali said, "A man that thinketh the same as he thought 30 years ago, he was like he hasn't grew at all." You know what I mean?
You know, I run into those type of people all the time. All the time. And some of them I'm real good friends with, you know.
Yeah, they don't see a future in a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you talk about doing podcasts, some people be like, "Oh, they ain't doing nothing." But podcasts, if you really pay attention to podcasts since COVID time, it's gave a lot of people a voice.
Yeah.
People that should be speaking and don't speak. You know what I mean? And it's to open up. I look at Instagram, Facebook. I look at how many people now are so much more vocal than now and I know they weren't back when I was young.
Right.
They wouldn't say hardly nothing, but it's just to open the door up for a lot of
People, you know, the podcast was the last thing. This was like a downhill from radio and that type of scenery. Like if you was in radio and dropped down to like some type of podcast, so that means you was pretty much on your way out the door. Now to where now it's like a big thing. Podcast is bigger than radio. You know, I just feel the podcast is like it's our it's like our shows back in the like Oprah, Montel, just talk shows.
It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Same thing as a talk show. You just get to control it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to wait for the big wigs to put your TV.
Right. You start your phone up, just
exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So man, what's next for you after?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm kind of getting out of. I mean, I hate to say this. I only like saying this. You know, say that I'm kind of getting out of MCing. You know, I'm not 56, man. You know, I done been doing this for a long time, man. And for real, I was depressed. Maybe like 6-7 years ago, man. I was depressed because I'm like really wondering, like, what are you gonna do now? You know, I started really thinking about MCing and started thinking about life more in general. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, and I've always been a speaker.
Right.
Whatever I do, I've always, even when I didn't want to, people would put me there. And I was like, man, I really don't want to do this, but I'm always the one that end up doing it. And I just was asking, I kept asking God, man, like what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? I lost a lot of sleep. I tossed and turned, and I didn't realize it was on my mind that much. And I was in the studio, and I did the Geechee Daniel album. I did an album about this person. And I asked a couple guys that was in there, I was like, hey man, if I write a movie with y'all, you know, what would y'all do? They was like, we'll do it. The engineer didn't even know how to edit at this time.
Oh,
Man,
wow.
AJ, he didn't even know how to do it. He was like, we'll try. From that point on, it took still another year for us to start filming.
Right.
Cause you know, like I said a while ago, you was like, you want to do a podcast, and it took you a while to get there, so it took me a minute. And I was like, man, God, if it's a sign, cause I've tried this 2 times to do a movie. I tried in my 20s and I tried in my mid-30s one time, and couldn't get nobody, you know. And then I said to God, I was like, listen, if this ain't for me, you need to show me a sign.
Right.
The first phone calls I was making to these people that I always thought about them, you know, if I ever did something. Yeah, I'll do it. Oh, come on, man. And then I was thinking they was gonna say no.
Right.
But they were saying yeah, frequently. And I was like, oh, now you got to do it, man, because God done made it available, so I had to do it, you know.
You gave desires of your heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So if you stop MCing, does that take away the poetry that you do, or you
Nah, I'm always probably do that, man. They just had a poetry challenge.
Yeah, that's,
Man, I didn't know I had so much to talk about, like poetry. I'm not a poet, I started writing. I tell you what I used to do in high school for a couple of the guys. I would write love letters for them. I write love letters and poems for my boys. You know, they were like, man, I need something, man. Tell this girl, you know. So that's how I started doing it. You know, and that's when I realized I could rap.
Right.
Cause I could write, you know, and I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and more I started realizing that I really do have a voice. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm about 15 is when I said, man, let me try this thing. Dougie Fresh then they came out with the show Lottie Dottie. I said, let me try this, and then from that start on, that's when I just kept moving.
Okay. So how hard is it for you to how else to put this? How hard is it, being that you're not going to church like that now? Is it hard for you to balance to stay relevant with the time, with Christ?
Oh yeah, it is. This is a battle sometimes, you know. Cause you gotta understand, I didn't grow up in a house that went to church.
Okay.
Mom and dad, you know, didn't go to church. My mom went frequently. After she moved from Pocono to where with my dad back when they was younger. You know, she didn't go anymore. And my dad, I don't. He said he went as a little boy, but you know, that's what he said. He went here as a kid. He was a kid. You know?
Right.
But so I didn't get saved till I was 36. You know what I mean? So I always say this to people, you know, when I have my funeral, don't lie on my obituary. Don't lie and say I got saved don't do that. Don't do that. Don't lie to me, because I've been to a lot of funerals, and even spoke at a couple of funerals back in my time, and that's always what it says on the obituary of people, and I'm like, I can't believe it. That's true all the time. You know what I mean? So I didn't get saved till I was 36 years old, and it does. I think when you're further away, you can't hear God's voice as much. You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about when toil and tarry, and you're trying to find yourself, you get a lot of sleepless nights. It's because you can't hear His voice. You know, because you may be that far away from Him. You know what I mean? And it takes a while for you to concentrate to hear that what He's really saying to you. It takes a minute, you know. So yeah, it is. It's a lot of distractions. You know what I mean? A lot of forces that don't want you to move forward in what you're trying to do. You'll find people coming into your, you know, I'm gonna say domain, and they're not good for you. So you gotta be strong and push people away that you know that they're not, like you said, not seeing the vision, or they're not, you know, and it gets rough sometimes.
Yeah, because sometimes pushing people away, that could be people that you're really close with and that you really care about, but they don't align with what you got going on, so it doesn't even feel right to be hanging out with them. You be trying to cut the conversation short. You be trying to get away from them. Yeah, I'll let you just keep right on talking.
And that's a hurtful thing. It's a hurtful thing to have friends or to have people, even family. I mean, you know, it's a hurtful thing when you see people so close that really don't want you. You know, and that's the hurtful thing. And to me, I've learned that that's what really. I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm gonna say it causes people not to be who they are, not to see their worth, because a lot of people hold on to people. Even in relationships, they hold on to people. Man and woman hold on to each other. They're not even good for one another. You know what I'm saying? Right. And people don't want to step out of the way and really say, you know what, I love you, but I gotta love you from this far because there's something else I want to do. Some people are not there for you.
Right.
That's not saying they don't love you. It's that they just may not agree, you know, with what you're really trying to do. You know what I mean? And they'll try to stop you. And that's a hurtful thing. When you see a person that's close to you that don't, you know, some people get weak and say, okay, because I can't be his friend or her friend, I'm just not gonna do it.
Right.
If you can't take no with it, you don't take. But I learned that at a young age though that I gotta do me. You know what I mean? And that's a leader sometimes. I didn't want to accept being a leader for a long time, and until you know I had to. I had once God was like, "You gonna do it whether you want to or not." You know what I'm saying?
Right. Here's a good question for you. For me, I feel like it's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
How was it going to school in Shingatig?
It was different. But you gotta understand, our generation came after the generation of integration. The 10 years, you know, our generation is 10 years. So the guys that were 10 years older than us, they were the ones that was, they were the first of integration. So that's only 10 years before we started school. It wasn't, that was like, we could reach back and touch it. So hearing them talk about it when we was coming, we were thinking, oh wow, it's gonna be like this. When we get in school, it's not even like that anymore, you know. Even in the Shingatig, I'm gonna say white people, they learn the same way we learn. You know what I mean? If we in our household and our fathers and mothers is saying stuff like, you can't go there now, or you can't do this, or you can't do this, we grow up with that mentality, not to do it.
Right.
They grew up with the same mentality. It's, you know, maybe a little different for them, you know. So when we finally get there, I think we both was at a learning stage of really, you know, getting connected with one another. And it was different for a while, but in school, my two best friends started off was two Shingatig boys, which was Mark Conklin and Danny Mills.
Okay.
They that's who I was in class with. And they were my friends all the way through high school. And this is what we were supposed to do. We said this in the 10th grade. We was like, we're gonna save all our money up on our 12th, when we graduate that whole summer, we're gonna save our money up. We're gonna get in Mark Contlin's convertible Cadillac, had a long Cadillac plate, longer than this building, man. And we were going to California. We were gonna drive all the way over to California. You know, that's where we was going at, you know.
What happened?
And Danny Mills' mom, one day we was in school and Danny Mills' mom died. You know, he walked out of school that day, man. He never came back.
You never seen him again?
We seen him, but he was just different. You know, he rest in peace. He's gone now. But he never came back. Then Mark Contlin's mom and dad got a divorce, and that put a little bit on him because he had to start work. You know, they weren't in money like that. You know, so he had to start work. So he quit school, and that kind of left me like, man, what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, they were my friends in school, man. You know what I mean? We had some good times. Ocean City, riding in the drop top, we was having a ball like that, man. You know.
I heard that. Was you big at the roller skate rink in Virginia?
Yeah, I couldn't skate. I never learned to skate.
I can't skate either. I just go watch other people.
Hurt myself bad the first time. I just left it alone. But yeah, that's when that was the first breakdance contest I ever got in. Won first place. First time ever doing it in front of everybody too.
Did you practice?
Yeah, we practiced. We had a pool hall that we practiced. My dad had a pool hall back there.
I used to have a lot of them back in the day.
Yeah.
When I was younger.
I used to love them pool halls though, for real. When I was a kid, we couldn't go in that home, but we sat outside on the bike. And just,
I was in with my family owned them, so.
Yeah. My dad gave us time to be in.
Right.
Certain,
Same here.
certain time,
Right.
man, y'all kids get out of here. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But we had fun. We had fun in there. We shoot pool. I was good at 9-ball. You know what I mean? The jukebox. Man, that was a claim to fame for me. When the man came to put the records on there, I would sit there. Let me see that. He would put them all on there. He would play 'em. You know, you play all of them. And I would sit there and tell him what they're gonna listen to. He told me back then, this guy told me back then, he said, you know what, you need to be in radio. Cause I always knew the songs that was gonna be popular on the jukebox. He would come back and look at the number and he was like, how did you know that? I'm like, it's the beat. Somebody's in the beat. So that's what I've learned then. When he told me that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be in radio. That's what I said as a kid back then, you know.
Right. Is there, if you could tell your younger self something right now, what would you say?
Oh, wow. Follow my dreams. You know what I mean? Really got up and go and just went for it 100% instead of waiting for like a magical moment or something like that, you know. Because when I got out of high school, just had my daughter, the first year I was out of school. You know what I mean? So I had a plan, you know, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna go, you know, as they said back in the 90s, blow up. I'm gonna blow up. But we had my daughter, and my dad said to me, he was like, it's not your time now, you got a daughter to take care of.
Yeah.
So, when he said that, I was like, oh man, you know, and I was down for a while, but after a while, man, you just go, you do what you do and do what you're supposed to be a father.
I used to come home from school and go straight to work, and come home from work and have to do homework and then still try to help her tend to the baby.
Yeah.
It was.
I remember when Tyson's was Holly Farms. In my 12th grade year, the last couple months of school, I would come home and my dad would take me right down to Holly Farms. I worked 2 nights. The second night I walked out, I didn't tell my dad that I wouldn't go to work. And he was like, what you doing home? I ain't going in there. I just felt like I ain't ready for that. Really. I got a lot of things I want to do, and that's not one of them. And I felt like, it's like I can feel if I get in there, I'm going to get locked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Trapped there.
Yeah. I didn't feel that.
You know, we didn't work with no people been in there 30, 40 years.
And my dad was mad at me. He was mad. I could tell he was mad. But I guess, you know, he probably was like, that's not him right now, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right, so right now with this segment right here, we're gonna take questions from the audience. If anybody have any questions for Mr. Taylor, we can start that up if y'all like.
I do. What is the most valuable lesson in your life have you learned so far?
Ooh. Not to judge men. I mean, we grew up and we were always taught that men are so wrong, that men are the cause of everything. You know, I know a lot of people may say no, it's not. But if we look at life, I always heard we were no good. You know, from women, even now, if you pay attention to kids really do look at a man like, you know, they're not the heroes that they should be, and I always thought about it, and we got in a conversation one time, me and some guys, and they was talking about how their dad did their mom, and I asked them a question, you ever cheated on your girlfriend? You ever cheated on your wife? Have you ever cheated, period? And they was like, I said, so how can you judge your dad? You wasn't living his time frame. You don't know what it was like. You don't know what really went on. You only hear the things that you hear. And I would say to a lot of young men, you know, don't be so hard on us. You know what I mean? Because we also had hard trials and tribulations too growing up. men probably had harder trials and tribulations at one period than women did, you know. So I would really say, you know, don't judge ourselves as men as much, you
Question.
know.
Being that you said you don't have a church home or anything right now, do you see yourself coming back into
Yeah.
church? And if so, would that change like the dynamic of how you run your movies or your music or anything
I don't
like that?
know. And being you asking, that's a scary question because I even thought about that. Um, I don't see myself doing spiritual movies. I don't really see myself doing it, you know, cause I really do have a lot to say sometimes, you know. And I try to have history facts of how certain things got the way they is, you know. That's like the first movie was Geechee Dan on the Fight for the Beautiful Fear. And the beautiful fear is a term I made up and it's called love. Love is a beautiful thing, but in the black community, we fear it so much. If you listen to right now on Facebook and anywhere, look at how people really think about love. They kind of push it away or they make excuses to not love. And I wanted to, you know, and it started back in the 70s, right after Vietnam War. When men came back, you gotta understand, you took 2 million men from the ages of 16 to 30 some years old. You took them out of the communities. And you left all of those, you left 2 million women alone. Right? So you took a whole population of men away. So that left women to even fight harder. It left women to do a lot of things they didn't even want to do. You know, in order to survive, because they had kids also. So when these men came back, they came back hurt, addicts, in which our government did this to them. How you at war and you dropping off pallets of cigarettes and liquor and heroin and all of this? How does this happen to men? And not just black men, you're talking about men of all races went to that war. So the movie was really about this is what stole our love from our communities. You know what I mean? This is really what stole our love. And a lot of it was us. We became gangsters. We wanted to be what we saw. Prostitution, a lot of things in the 70s came about. Pool halls again, you know, it was a lot of pimps. And then back in the day, men weren't pimps. Men were just the muscle. Women were really, you know, the ones in charge of the brothel. But in the 70s, that all changed. So it's about the love. What happened to it? Why do black men and women hate each other so much? That's all I'm saying. You know, when I look at everything on podcasts and everything, we tear one another down the most out of any race that is, you know what I mean? So, and to me personally, I just feel like I want to come back, but I'm afraid I might lose. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I might lose my sense of what I'm really trying to say to the community. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to answer that question. You know what I mean?
So who is your most spiritual hero in your life? Or has or have been?
Oh man. I'm gonna say a preacher that came to Horntown when I was a kid. His name was Reverend Fisher. We didn't have anybody that really, you know, outside of our fathers and moms. We didn't have nobody to take us to something different. And he was the first one to catch the shad landing, public landing, and he took us fishing. He's the first one to introduce us to Boy Scouts. And we really looked up to him, man, because he did something that I think that no one else in the town had done. So we would travel with him every Sunday. After church, we would go but we had to go to church in order to reap the benefits. And we would go shadowland and places, and I still wonder where he's at with this very dead. But he was a good guy. He was a good man, you know.
I got another question. Have you ever experienced church hurt?
No, I've been kind of strong, like far as what I let get that close, you know. I've seen church hurt now. I've seen it, and and some people still hurt, you know what I mean. But far as me, I was the kind of person that I can handle a lot, you know what I mean. It's like here's an example. You ever been around people sometimes they can dish it out but they can't take it? You know what I'm saying? So I know if I say what I really got on my mind, I could probably hurt some people, you know. But so I always held that back. But I would take what other people do, you know, because I can handle that. I can do it with a smile. You would never even think I'm mad. But I was strong. I was able to do that. You know, and I see a lot of people probably, they can't harness that. Those, you know, answers. Like, if you don't go to anybody and ask a person, how do you see me, and get mad when they tell you the truth. You know what I mean? See, so people would ask me, what do you think? And I'm like, do you really want the truth, or do you just want to vent? And they would say, no, I want the truth. And when I would tell them the truth, they'd be mad. They would get mad at me, you know. But we always remain friends, and I feel like be real with a person. You know what I'm saying? Don't lie to them. I don't care who they are, mother, father, sister, brother. That's what you're here for, and that's why families are breaking apart, because people don't want to be real with one another. You know what I mean? They don't want to be real. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They rather hear it from Johnny in New York than hear it from somebody here, you know. But yeah.
Any more questions, audience?
Yeah, is it hard for you, from back then till now, how technology and everything is changing, is it hard for you to keep up?
Oh yeah. When I left everything alone. When I got saved, I left everything alone for 8-9 years. I'm talking cold turkey everything. I'm talking about alcohol, smoking weed. I'm talking about everything. I even gave all my tapes and stuff away. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? It's most of the time that's how I am as a person. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. And anything that I feel is gonna stop me, I gotta get rid of it. And when I came back, which is you talking like 10 years later, when I came back to it, everything had changed. There were no more CDs in studios. It's all screen. You know what I'm saying? And it scared me. I'm like, and I quit for like a year. I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. And then, you know, something just kept calling me back. And then I met AJ, the guy that's in the studio, which he's younger than me. AJ is like maybe 30-something. And this guy taught me a lot, you know, just from sitting there watching him, you know, and just him clicking buttons. I still can't work this stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's why I pay somebody to work this stuff. But I like technology. I know a lot of people my age now are scared of it, you know. So they just stop doing everything they're doing now. But yeah, it's a difference, though. Big time.
Any more questions from the audience?
I wasn't gonna say that, but I do got a question for you. By the way, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it.
It's been awesome. It's different. I have to, in this, you know, I have to ask this question. I have to ask this question. You said that church would change the direction of your movies and your thinking. Where do you see yourself now, and how will you see yourself coming back to Christ?
I would really have to dig deep in myself, you know. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes you get a little farther along, you come back, your thought process has to change. You know, you can't think as you was, you know, you just gotta change. So my thing is like, would it change the direction of what I wanna film? You know what I mean? Cause I'm big on, my whole thing is big on healing. I wanna see the community heal. I wanna see the community get over some of these obstacles. And sometimes it's hard to do that in that realm. And so that's what I think that's the fear I have is like if I really come back, would that change the way I see life now? Would I want that same kind of healing, or you know, would I want to see the folks heal the same? You know, it's hard.
Can I ask?
Mm-hmm.
I used to be the top man, but as you said, this is all I'm going to ask you is because there's somebody sitting in your seat right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think it's a good thing that you did say that, but I would truly think it would not it would enhance your voice because the same God that's giving you the opportunity to do what you do now,
Mm-hmm.
how much more would he give you if you submit and say, you know what, to get to that next level in my movies, I'm gonna go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it seems like you already carry that glow on the inside of you now,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like it's something that you're like you want to move and you know what it's going to take to get there,
Exactly.
but you don't really want to get there.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel definitely where you
You
come
see,
from.
so and you're doing so much great work, and
Mhm.
and it's like you want to get like you said, you want to get your voice out there to help to heal the people. But there's only truly one way to heal the people is coming to Christ.
Right.
And what he already stored in you, I believe your voice will enhance even louder
Right.
if you just come home.
Yeah, you might be right. I can't say you wrong. I don't never say people wrong. I'm listening to what you're saying. Yeah, could be. You know what I mean? I gotta be ready. You know? I'm not one to just take what people say and go do it.
Yeah.
I gotta be ready. You know, when the time comes. But it's the same thing that happened to me when I was 36. I just woke up one Sunday and went to church. You know, I've been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And just one Sunday, I woke up and that's what I did. You know, and I became a youth. I became a youth leader, and the kids wanted me to do it. I wasn't even gonna do nothing but just sit there, you know, and listen. And then I became a youth coordinator, and from that is when I just stopped everything. You know, I just cold turkey stopped everything.
So how did that make you feel when you was a youth leader?
Oh, I liked it, you know, cause see, my mom had a daycare when we was growing up, so I always loved, you know, children, kids, period. You know, I like kids when they're small because they listen. You know, they listen more than when they get older. They're willing to sit there, and you can share with them. I work in the school system. I see younger kids, and younger kids really, you know, they really want to hear things, but you know, the school system is so afraid to bring things to kids. You know what I mean? But yeah, I believe what you're saying. Though. You know, I gotta. If I'm gonna do it, I gotta believe that I'm gonna do it. You're right. Yeah.
I don't know if mine is really a question, but one, I do want to encourage you to go. Just go,
Mhm.
come. If it's here or somewhere, because if we say we got to be ready, you'll never know when that time will come.
Right.
And sometimes, a lot of times, when we came back to Christ, we didn't think, oh, we're ready. It just happened.
Mhm.
And then a lot of things happen really fast for us. And the same vision that you have, that you see that goes on out there in the streets, the people in Christ need you for that same vision because they still experience those same things that you see out there.
Yeah.
And you can just see, like Bishop was saying, like there's need for you,
Right.
and there's a place for you in Christ, and you're very useful whether you're out there or in here. But why not be in here with Him, and you know what the end results would be, than to still do good works out there and die and go to hell.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to encourage you. It wasn't really a question.
I
Just a
know what
little
you
encouragement.
mean. I received that. I understand. Yeah.
Any more questions, anybody? Oh, we on fire tonight.
What are 3 core values that you try to live by every day?
3 core values. If I can wake up, I still got a chance. Thank God every morning when I wake up because He didn't have to do it. The second one is my belief. Never let anybody tell me, what I can and cannot do, or not to feel the way I feel. There's a lot of people out here now trying to tell people not to hurt, or not to say this or say that. You know what I mean? So I keep that in mind. And I think the third one is, and the only reason I'm saying is because most of the time when we go to funerals, a lot of times when we go to funerals, we're being told the same thing most of the time. And nobody talks about the man majority of the time. Nobody talks about the person or the woman that's laying there. It's more of the people that's there. And as a person now, I like to give people their flowers while they're here. I mean, it's what can you say when they're not here anymore? You have to give each other their flowers while they're here. You know what I mean? And that's what I do. I like to tell people if I admire Tone for who he is and all this time been knowing him since we first met, I tell him that. If it's something I like in a person or I believe in a person, I tell that person. I don't hold nothing back like that. But if I feel like I feel like right now, if what she's got going on at a young age, right now she's doing more than what people my age is doing. So for her to have that vision as a kid, she's got a future. So my third is tell a person what you have to say to them. Get up in the morning, if you don't want to do nothing, just say, I love you, brother. Do that. Give a person their flowers while they're still here, and don't wait until the person's about to leave here, and then you tell them, because it can help. It helps us along the way. You know what I mean? I've heard more in my last 10 years about my worth than I heard my whole life. You know what I mean? Where would we be if we heard those good values about us when we was young? You know what I mean? So yeah, I live by that. Tell a person, what you need, tell them now, because you might not have another chance. You know what I mean?
All right, we want to wrap this up. Now, before we wrap this up, we having a segment where we do encouraging words. We'd like to say any encouraging words to the people out there today.
Oh man, I'm gonna piggyback off something that Bishop and what's your name?
Living.
All right, what they said is you gotta have a belief. You gotta have belief in God. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of people that really thought they was here, right? They was here. When they couldn't do what they wanted to do no more, they wouldn't know what they thought they could do no more. I'm not saying they were nothing, but what I'm saying is they had no worth in them anymore. So God keeps you knowing that you're not in control of anything. You know, God's not. He lets you know. Every so often, every aching pain in your body, God lets you know that you're not in control. You know, because I would love to wake up and still do some of the things I used to do, and I can't do them no more. But you gotta have belief in God. Another thing is, every day that you wake up, you got another day to try. You got another day to learn something. I learn something every day, you know. And some people don't want to learn nothing. They think they got it all sewed up. And I learn something every day from people, kids and everybody. I learn something every day, and that lets me know that I'm still relevant. Because I'm not, you know. Some people would like what y'all was just saying to me. Some people get mad when you try to tell them something like that, you know. So I like, you know, I like the fact of having an understanding.
All right. Well, man, I would like to thank you for pulling up and doing this. We're about to wrap this up. So again, man, appreciate you for pulling up, man. Stefan, tell everybody.
Appreciate it.